Hello, I'm Dr. Olivia Thompson, a specialist physician in integrative health, and today I'm going to share with you a discovery that could completely change the future of your memory. Did you know that after 60 years old, a simple cup of tea per day can be the difference between preserving or losing your most precious memories? It sounds too simple to be true, doesn't it? But what if I told you there's robust scientific backing behind this and that thousands of people around the world are already reaping the benefits of this practice? Stay with me until the end because I'm going to show you exactly how this tea acts on your brain, the correct way to prepare it, and why you should start drinking it today. If you're over 60 years old or know someone in this age group, you've probably felt that silent fear that haunts so many people. The fear of one day not recognizing your grandchildren's faces, of forgetting stories from your own life, of gradually losing the ability to live independently and lucidly. Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia are frightening realities that affect millions of people worldwide, and each year these numbers only increase. But here's the good news, and pay close attention to this. There are scientifically proven measures you can take today to protect your brain from degeneration, and one of the most powerful and accessible is the regular consumption of green tea. I'm not talking about empty promises or passing fads. I'm talking about solid scientific evidence, studies with thousands of participants, results that I myself have been observing in my clinical practice for years. You might be wondering, how could something so common, so simple, so inexpensive really make a difference against such a devastating disease? The answer is hidden within the leaves of green tea, in powerful compounds that modern science is rediscovering and that our Eastern ancestors have been using for millennia. Let me explain exactly what happens in your brain as the years go by and how green tea acts to protect your cognitive functions. With natural aging, our brain faces two major silent enemies: chronic inflammation and the accumulation of toxic proteins called beta amyloids. These proteins deposit between neurons, forming plaques that literally suffocate your brain cells, preventing them from communicating properly with each other. It's as if the roads of memory are being blocked one by one until you can no longer access your memories or form new connections. Scary, isn't it? Now comes the extraordinary part. Green tea contains compounds called polyphenols, and especially one of them, EGCG, which stands for epigallocatechin gallate. Don't worry about memorizing that complicated name. The important thing is to understand what it does. This compound acts as a true protective shield for your brain. It can cross the blood-brain barrier, which is like a protective wall that exists around the brain and normally doesn't let substances pass through easily. Once inside, EGCG begins to work intelligently. It drastically reduces brain inflammation, combats oxidative stress that damages cells, and recent studies show something even more impressive. It can help dissolve those beta amyloid plaques before they cause irreversible damage to your neurons. Can you imagine having this protection working in your brain every day? But it doesn't stop there. Green tea also increases the production of neurotrophic factors, which work like fertilizers for the brain, stimulating the birth of new neural connections even after 60, 70, or 80 years old. Yes, you read that right. New connections can be formed at any age, and green tea helps in this process. Let me tell you a real story that happened in my office a few months ago. I saw a patient I'll call Helen here. She was 68 years old at the time. She arrived accompanied by her daughter, and you could see in her eyes a deep concern, almost a silent desperation. Helen was forgetting important appointments, repeating the same questions several times in the same day, and what scared her most was starting to forget faces of close people, including some family members. We did a battery of neurological tests and the results indicated mild cognitive decline. It wasn't diagnosed Alzheimer's yet, but the path was beginning to form, you know. Along with all the traditional medical guidelines that are fundamental in these cases, I suggested to her an apparently simple change in her routine. Replace her afternoon coffee with 2 cups of green tea per day. Helen looked at me with that suspicious expression and asked, "Just that, doctor?" And I explained to her that it wasn't just that, obviously. It was part of a larger set of neuroprotective habits that included physical activity, cognitive stimulation, balanced diet, and quality sleep. But yes, green tea could make a significant difference. 6 months later, Helen came back for a follow-up appointment, and I was moved by the results. Cognitive tests showed measurable improvement. She was more present in conversations, more alert, more confident. Her daughter reported with tears in her eyes that her mother had returned to cooking her favorite recipes alone, something she had abandoned for fear of forgetting the stove on. She returned to actively participating in family conversations, remembering details and making connections that previously seemed impossible. Green tea didn't perform a miracle, didn't cure anything magically, but it gave her brain the necessary tools to defend itself better, to function more efficiently, to preserve what was most important, her identity, her memories, her lucidity. Now you must be wondering, which green tea should I buy and how should I prepare it correctly? This is a crucial question because not all green tea is equal, and the preparation method makes all the difference in preserving the active compounds. Those industrialized tea bags you find in the supermarket have unfortunately lost much of the polyphenols during the manufacturing process. Ideally, you should use loose-leaf green tea, preferably organic, to avoid pesticides, and the most recommended varieties are Japanese sencha or matcha, which is even more concentrated in EGCG because you consume the entire leaf in powder form. Now comes the technical part of preparation. Pay attention because this is important. Boil the water normally, but then let it cool for about 2 minutes before pouring it over the leaves. Why? Because boiling water above 90 degrees Celsius or 194 Fahrenheit destroys the active compounds we so want to preserve. Use approximately 1 teaspoon of the leaves for each cup. Let it steep for 3 to 5 minutes. No more than that or it becomes too bitter, and drink it without sugar. If you really need to sweeten it, use natural stevia very sparingly. The ideal dose, according to the main scientific studies, is 2 to 3 cups a day, distributed throughout the day. Don't drink more than that because green tea contains caffeine, and excess can cause insomnia, nervousness, and, in sensitive people, even palpitations. Can you incorporate this habit into your routine? It's important for me to be transparent with you about some necessary precautions, because green tea is not suitable for all people in all situations. If you take anticoagulants like warfarin, which is very common in people with heart or circulatory problems, you need to talk to your doctor before starting to drink green tea regularly, because it can interfere with the medication's action. People with severe liver problems should also be cautious, especially with concentrated green tea extracts. And I need to make this very clear. Green tea is a powerful ally. But it's not a substitute for medications prescribed by your doctor or for proper medical monitoring. If you already have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or another form of dementia, don't stop your medications to drink only green tea, okay? Use it as a complement, as an additional tool in your brain protection strategy. Let me now show you what science really says about this, because I know you might be thinking, isn't this just another fad? An impressive Japanese study followed more than 13,000 people over 65 years old for 7 complete years. 7 years observing these people's habits and brain health. You know what they discovered? Those who drank green tea daily had up to 54% less chance of developing cognitive decline compared to those who didn't drink it. 54%, that's a huge reduction in risk. Another study conducted in China showed that regular green tea consumption was directly associated with better performance in short and long-term memory tests, in addition to better attention and concentration capacity. The scientific journal Molecular Nutrition and Food Research, which is one of the most respected in the field of nutrition, published research demonstrating that EGCG not only protects the neurons you already have, but actively stimulates neurogenesis, which is the birth of new brain cells in the hippocampus, that region of the brain that is absolutely essential for memory formation and retrieval. Do you understand the dimension of this? We're not talking about rumors or alternative medicine without proof. We're talking about cutting-edge science, published in high-impact international journals, peer-reviewed with rigorous methodology. Now I want you to do an exercise with me. Close your eyes for a moment if you're in a safe place to do so, and imagine the following scene. It's 6 months in the future and you realize that those annoying memory lapses have significantly decreased. You remember people's names when you meet them on the street. You no longer need to desperately search for your car keys or glasses. You remember appointments without having to check your calendar 10 times. You can follow movie and series plots without losing the thread. You're back to telling those wonderful stories from your youth with all the vivid details, making your family laugh and get emotional. Your mind is clearer, faster in responses, more confident. You've returned to feeling that you can trust your own brain, that it won't betray you in important moments. This transformation is possible, but it doesn't happen magically overnight. It's the result of consistency, of making the right choices every day, of building habits that protect what you have most precious, your mind, your memories, your essence. Green tea can and should be one of the central pillars of your brain defense, but it works even better when combined with other neuroprotective habits. Regular physical activity, at least 30 minutes of walking 5 times a week, stimulates brain circulation and the production of neurotrophins. Quality sleep, sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night in a dark and silent environment, because it's during deep sleep that the brain cleanses the toxins accumulated during the day, including those beta amyloid proteins I mentioned earlier. Constant mental challenges like learning a new language, playing a musical instrument, doing crossword puzzles or Sudoku, because the brain needs to be exercised just like the body's muscles. And a diet rich in omega-3 that you find in fish like sardines and salmon, rich in colorful vegetables full of antioxidants, with extra virgin olive oil and nuts. When you put all these pieces together, when you build this neuroprotective lifestyle, you're literally building a fortress around your brain against Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. Based on decades of rigorous scientific research and my clinical experience treating hundreds of patients over the years, I can state with conviction, choosing to drink green tea every day is not just any healthy habit. It's a conscious and powerful investment in your cognitive future. It's the difference between passively accepting mental decline as something inevitable or actively fighting with proven tools for the preservation of your lucidity, your independence, your dignity. Alzheimer's is a cruel disease, devastating for those who suffer and for families, but it's not completely invincible. And although we don't yet have a definitive cure available, we have powerful tools at our disposal to drastically reduce the risk or significantly delay progression. One of these tools costs just a few dollars a month and is within reach of virtually anyone: a cup of green tea prepared correctly and taken consistently. If you're over 60 years old, I earnestly ask you, start today. Don't wait for the signs to get worse. Don't wait for a scary diagnosis. Don't put it off. The time you have now is precious, and every day counts in protecting your brain. Your brain of tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, will deeply thank you for the intelligent decisions you're making today. And always remember, each cup of green tea you drink is an act of self-love. It's a silent but powerful declaration that you will not give up your lucidity, your history, your essence, everything that makes you who you are. It's you telling yourself that you deserve to age with dignity, with mental clarity, with the ability to recognize and embrace those you love. I sincerely hope this content has opened your eyes to the extraordinary power that exists in something as simple as a cup of tea. If you liked it, if this made sense to you, share this video with people you love who could benefit from this information. Leave a comment down below telling me, do you already drink green tea regularly? If not, will you start today? I really want to know about your experience. And subscribe to the channel because in the next videos, I'm going to reveal other simple but powerful habits that, when combined with green tea, can exponentially multiply the protection of your brain. The difference between aging with dementia or with mental clarity, between depending on others or maintaining your independence, may be exactly in the small daily choices you make now, at this moment. Choose well. Choose life. Choose lucidity. A warm hug from Dr. Olivia Thompson, and see you in the next video.